And that's why it can be so detrimental to settle, because you start putting people on a pedestal that do the bare minimum that should not be put on a pedestal, because it's to be expected. Hey guys, it's LT What to Do because I'm back with another video, and today's another segment of spilling the tea for the girlies. Right now I'm watching the new season of The Ultimatum. If you guys haven't watched it, check it out because it's actually so good, and every season I'm like, this is not gonna work, and it works. But the show really got me thinking about how I want my life to pan out, and it brought up my issues with people delivering the bare minimum. Let me spell it out for my girlies. The bare minimum is non-negotiable. And if they aren't giving you the bare minimum, give them the ultimatum. It really just got me thinking about what is considered the bare minimum to me and how that differs from everybody else. Just from watching the show, I think that personally, people's bare minimums come from people's love languages. You truly have to understand what your love language is, and that really comes to play with then delivering what your bare minimum in relationships are, what you need from your partners to be satisfied. And in that regard, you need to understand what your love language is, but you also need to understand what your partner's love language is. And if that's a conversation you guys haven't even had, bad news. So let's get into the video. So let's discuss the importance of love languages. I know for me, my love languages are time spent and physical touch. And one thing that I kept seeing come up in The Ultimatum is that people just weren't even aware what their love languages were until somebody else showed them and they liked it. And for that reason, I think it really is so important to know what your love language is and then find people who are similar or who actually act on what your love language is, because then it makes you guys compatible. If your love language is physical touch and your partner's love language is not, there's a disconnect. You're gonna have to either figure that out or you're gonna have to move on. And that is why you have to take people at face value. You can't fall in love with the potential, because if the person is telling you that they love this way and that is not how you love, you literally have to either make a decision as a couple to work through it or move on. If both parties aren't trying to work through a situation, there literally is no point. And if somebody's telling you that they're gonna work through it and you've waited, time is up. Move on. And one thing most people need to take away from falling in love with the potential and staying in it for too long is you need to reflect on your self-esteem. I feel like it literally comes to a point where if people are constantly telling you they're gonna change and they don't, you're gonna either have to look within and decide that enough's enough, or at that point, it literally turns into manipulation. Because there's only so many times that somebody can tell you they're gonna do something and not do it before it's a situation of them playing with you. And we're not being played out here. And like how I stated in my previous video, you have to check people. If they're playing with you, check them. And honestly, for you to even check them after the first time of you bringing it up, they already played with you too much, you gotta go. So it's really just about finding the balance between your love languages, what you're willing to work on with your partner, and going from there. One of the ways that you can work through this is having open communication. Relationships thrive in open communication, whether that's with your partner, your friends, your family. You need to communicate, but do not confuse open communication with constant reminders. When you're constantly telling people how to treat you, when you're constantly telling people that they've disrespected you, it honestly becomes a nag. And you shouldn't have to be nagging at our big age. When you're communicating with somebody, they should be able to receive it and take that in and make the changes as needed. And when that doesn't happen, honestly, it leads to you resenting the other person. You just feel like you're wasting your time, energy is being spent, and you're getting nothing in return. And to be honest, there's only so much that can be taken in a relationship without it crumbling. And that's why the bare minimum should be non-negotiable, because how are you fighting with somebody to get the treatment that you deserve? Let alone just like surface level treatment that any human being deserves. Say for instance, you're fighting about your partner showing up for you. I know that if you have a man, your man is showing up for his friends when they're playing 2K. So how can he not show up for you? You have to put what you're saying into perspective. Like, am I really gonna fight about somebody not replying to a text message? Like, how do you teach someone to reply to a text message? They just didn't want to reply. So girlies, do not settle. Settling is literally so detrimental to a person. If your partner is not making you a priority, move on. It is too much to be teaching people how to treat you or how to prioritize you. How to prioritize you as a person. When they have a work, they have family, they have school maybe. There's just so much going on. If you want something to work with somebody, you have to put them first or put them on a level that's respectable. Because you already know the resentment is going to start to build and you literally will just lose yourself. There's so many situations where you're fighting about things that you never even thought you would fight about. You guys are constantly arguing. Your energies are bad, very low vibrations. And you cannot afford to lose yourself at the hands of your man or your partner. But there's levels to this. Because there's situations where you're not even hitting the bare minimum. That's not even a discussion. Girlies, we got to leave. Now we're hitting the bare minimum. But because you've settled previously, now the bare minimum is looking like it's a little higher than the bare minimum. Like you bragging about the fact that somebody plans a date for you, that is not something to brag about. Like that is literally the bare minimum of entertaining a person. Them planning a date with you is showing that they care enough about you to plan a date, and they set aside time to even plan the date and to meet you up for the date. And then they have to execute the date. So that's 3 things right there. But that is literally the bare minimum of entertaining anybody. How else are you going to get to know somebody if they don't go out with you? And that's why it can be so detrimental to settle, because you start putting people on a pedestal that do the bare minimum that should not be put on a pedestal. Because it's to be expected. And once you become too easily impressed, it's game over for you. People will run with that. They will know exactly what to do to make you think that they're going above and beyond or you're getting the treatment you deserve, when really it's mediocre at best. But again, everyone's love languages are different. So you really have to sit with yourself and decide what are your bare minimums, what are your love languages, and make sure that people are hitting it as expected. But you're probably wondering what overall you can do to ensure that your bare minimums are non-negotiable. And it's to be high maintenance. When I say be high maintenance, I mean inside and out. It's like a running joke now that like men can't keep up with what women expect for them because of the fact that they're so high maintenance. They expect the world, they expect the designer, the house, the car. And that's true. Honestly, when you look well kept, you do attract people that will keep up with your lifestyle. And that's even how you portray yourself on social medias. If you look like your lifestyle costs a lot, you're likely going to attract people that know they can afford the lifestyle that you already attained for yourself. Or if your self-esteem is low and a little low hitter slides into the DMs and you entertain it, that's your mistake. And when I say high maintenance on the inside, it's like your personality, it's people's characteristics. Like they are high achievers. But most importantly, it's finding partners with high emotional IQs. I keep saying that like 30 is the new 20 because so many people are 30 years old acting like they're 20 years old. I don't know if it's because of COVID and like people didn't get their best years outside, but you can literally meet people who are way older than you and literally still operate like they're younger or your age. Age is something but a number. I really do believe in that, with discretion. But when you're looking for somebody, you really have to delve deeper and talk to them on an emotional level. See if they can actually express their emotions to you, because that's a sign that you can build with that person. When people don't express themselves, it's kind of scary because they probably have not even been honest with themselves. When people hold themselves back in conversations, I'm just like, are you trying to filter what you're saying to me? Or is it because you really just don't know who you are and what type of answer you want to deliver? It's scary. Which also goes hand in hand with having a high relationship IQ. When you know what you want in relationships and that person knows what they want in that relationship, there's no BS. You both will be intolerant to bad behavior, and you'll be able to express when there is bad behavior. Like, if your bare minimums aren't being achieved, you can express that and that person will accept it. They won't make excuses for it. But they also will be aware that you have standards, and that's always the key. Standards are the key. Overall, I just want all my girlies to know that the bare minimum is non-negotiable, and if that person that you're with is not giving you the bare minimum, you need to reassess and likely move on and find somebody who is compatible with you, and that will give you that. Because you already know we're out here trying to get princess treatment. But you guys know the drill. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Comment down below any video ideas you guys have for me, because I will do them. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Daydreaming, wanna go with you like horizon, with you tonight.